Hi, this is Brooke Nicole with Sweet Shine, and I'm here today with my friend Gabe Hoffman, who is one of the big honchos at Santa Vita and wellness, and wellness and stress expert. Ow! Sorry.
That's a nice introduction. Hey, Brooke, how are you? It's good to be here.
Today I'm in Manhattan, New York with Gabe Hoffman, a wellness and stress reduction expert. I'm super excited to have him talking with me today. So one of the reasons I wanted to ask you on today was because Gabe and I have been talking about the negative self-talk that goes through a lot of people's minds. And Gabe had mentioned how we can use this to our advantage, and it doesn't have to be such a bad thing. And so there was a technique that you had suggested that I thought was amazing. And what was that technique?
So this is called the notebook technique, and it was shared with me by one of my mentors 5 years ago. And so the way the notebook techniques works is in the front of your notebook, we're doing all the things that most people I think if you're watching this video that you're probably aware of affirmations and positive thinking and your intentions for the day and your gratitude list. This is all great stuff. This goes in the front of the notebook. What is different about this technique and why I feel it really is more well-rounded and brings our psyche together is in the back of the notebook. In the back of your notebook is really the key to the whole process. And this notebook you're going to bring around with you day to day. And what happens is, yeah, you're going to write all these positive things in the front of your notebook, but we all know that the next 2 minutes later, we have a voice in our head basically telling us that none of those things are going to happen. Nothing about us is worth that, and we're screwed, and it's not going to work. So the back of the notebook is where you write down all of those thoughts, what we could call pop-up thoughts, or the liar, or that other voice in your head.
The boogity man.
Yeah, the boogity man.
Sorry.
That's what Brooke has in her notebook. So essentially the notebook technique, the reason it's I believe as powerful for me and for the people I've worked with as it's been is because it's using the negative voice and the positive voice. Because the reality is we can write down as many affirmations and as many feel-good thoughts as we want, and most of us are still in our head like, you're a loser, you're not doing anything well, you don't deserve this. And so it's time to stop denying that fact and realizing that it is there. And
so what happens if somebody feels like all they're doing is filling up the back of the book? Would that just reinforce these negative thoughts? Because I think that's a fear that a lot of people have.
Yeah, that's a great question. It doesn't reinforce it, because remember, this voice is going on in your head whether you write it in this book or not. But when you actually write it down and get it out of your head, it changes the frequency and the repetitive nature of those thoughts. What you start to do is differentiate between the two voices. If you don't write these things down and separate them, this voice sounds like one voice in your head, and most of us really believe that that negative talk is the truth, and that's the overriding voice in our life. And what I've seen with people and myself is as you separate the two, you start to be able to differentiate and choose which one you want to listen to and recognize the fact that it's just a voice. It's not the voice.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important distinction to make, that there are two voices and that you can choose which ones you want to give more attention to.
Yeah, I mean, and there's probably 20 voices that we're all dealing with. I mean, it's a busy place up in our minds. Yeah. And, we're usually having a conversation with someone thinking about 10 other things. And until we start to really embrace and connect to that process and get it in order, it can be very painful, for a long time. But you just keep getting these things out of your head, and then you can look back at this book, and you'll see what's in the back, you'll see what's in the front, and you will have detached from it to a degree, because it's no longer just going on in your head where no one can see it. Now it's something that's tangible, and you can decide what you want to do with it. And sometimes there's good information in the back. I mean, that's just how it is. Sometimes you do learn something, or you start to understand the relationship between the front and the back, and why when your intention is this in the front, a lot of times as soon as you write something in the front, that's when you get the most things to write in the back, because you have this voice that's telling you you're never going to be able to do that. And so you start to understand, you can go deeper with where are those thoughts coming from? Why do I have such a self-esteem issue? And we all do, and we all have to work with it. And you may recognize that voice in the back of your book eventually as maybe it sounds like your teacher or your parents. It's not you. The point is you start to realize that that voice is really not you. It's something that we've learned over time, and it's a collective issue. So I think if we're going to move forward collectively, just as human beings, we're going to have to address it.
Yeah, I love that. I totally love the concept of, as each of us is doing this work, how it moves us forward as a collective. To just be all bright, happy, and shiny people?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
Oh.
You may never be bright and shiny and happy.
It depends on the notebook situation. I mean, but expect everyone to have some really crazy things in the back of there, because that's just how,
Yeah.
you know, you show me yours, I'll show you mine type of thing.
No. Okay. Yay! So thank you so much, Gabe, for sharing this information today. I really appreciate it. And definitely recommend that everybody go out and purchase their own little notebook and try it out. And tell us below how it goes. And if you have any more questions or comments for Gabe, please put them below, or you can find out more about him at santavita.org. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today, Gabe?
You know, just what Brooke said. I mean, just really try it. You know, do the technique, do the process, stay with it, and post your comments or questions. We'd be happy to answer them. And you know, I think I'm always excited to share these types of things. I think we can all support each other by doing these types of things. Not just how you eat, but how you're managing your thoughts, how you're working with your confidence, your self-esteem, and your self-talk. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to share it.
Yay, thank you, and hopefully we'll get another chance to share some of your tips.
Yeah, sure. Looking forward to it.
Yay. Thanks, everyone.